The new revenue recognition standard has a number of significant implications for software companies. Probably the biggest one is there's very strict rules today for software companies around how they establish fair value of services in their arrangements for accounting purposes. What that's led to is some degree of constraint in how they do business, and in particular how they price and discount their offerings. The new standard allows a lot more flexibility and judgment in that regard. It's going to be interesting for software companies to take some time to think through, are there areas where they wish to take advantage of the flexibility that they now have? Would they like to revisit their pricing strategy? Are there things that they could do in their negotiations with customers that perhaps they weren't able to before? And they may get some real business opportunities out of that. Sometimes we hear that they can't move as quickly as they'd like to with price changes because, again, it runs the risk of blowing up the accounting analysis, particularly, for example, if they've just done an acquisition and they're looking to conform the pricing strategy of the two companies. Sometimes they have to take that slower than they would like in the integration because of the accounting rules. So I think two things: they'll have the ability to be more flexible if they choose to be, but also the ability to move more quickly where they want to. This being a global standard, one of the benefits for software companies is we often hear US software companies complain that they're constrained by the very strict rules that we have that the rest of the world currently doesn't have. This standard, theoretically at least, should level the playing field in that they'll all be dealing with the same principle-based standard, the same rules of the road for determining their accounting policies. We often see software companies having very strict rules around something like product roadmaps, so being able to tell the customer what future functionality is coming. That's very much driven by the accounting rules, because if they make some promise of a future deliverable today, often leads to full revenue deferral. Under the new standard, the accounting answer won't be as negative. There'll still be a deferral, but not as much. We often see software companies today having to be very thoughtful about what products and services they can include in a bundle or a solution that they give to the customer. If they can't prove fair value for one or more of those elements, it can often lead to whole deferral of the entire deal, very negative consequences, and as a result, there are sometimes areas where they won't put a particular product or service in the product offering because they don't want to taint the accounting for the whole deal. The new standard will have a lower standard for fair value. As such, they'll have more flexibility around what products and services they can put in that bundle and offer to customers, and won't be constrained, as they sometimes are today, by the accounting rules. PwC is already working with a number of large software companies, helping them figure out not just the accounting impact, but what does it also mean for the broader organization? What are those other work streams that need to get built out? Getting the accounting technical, right? That's almost the easy part.